Evening.
Welcome to the Middlesbrough Norton Town Council meeting of Monday the 3rd of February. So first of all, item number 1 is apologies for absence. Have we received any?
I've had apologies from Councillor Wells and Councillor Lucas. I haven't heard from Councillor Scott. I'll just check.
Okay, that's good. Item number 2. No. Public session. I haven't got any members of the public.
No.
So we'll leave that one and move on to item number 3, declarations of interest. Members to declare any interest, including disclosable pecuniary interest they may have in agenda items that accord with the requirements of the Middlesbrough Norton Town Council's Code of Conduct, and to consider any prior requests from members for dispensation that accord with the Localism Act 2011. There are members of the Recreation Trust and the Town Trust management committees are asking for dispensation for the items that come up later on in the agenda. That's what I mean to say. That's okay, isn't it? Yes. So
yeah, we need to approve that dispensation.
So can I propose that?
Yeah.
So can I propose that we allow dispensations to allow members to be involved in the discussion? Right, so that's seconded by Linda. All in favour? Thank you. Item number 4 is the minutes.
Shall we propose the same for the town trust?
I think you said both.
Look them together. No, the two trusts, Recreation and Town Trust. Yeah.
Because you're acting in the sole capacity as the trustee. And
so I'm going on to the minutes that you know.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got 2. One is item 9, which was the Town Hall update, Sean Redmond of PH3. Where is the record of this important update?
Sorry?
When Sean came and talked to us last time, there's no written record of that. Where in a year's time we might be interested to know what was said then. Where can we find that information?
It won't exist.
Okay.
It's got it from memory, so what will happen is...
Okay, we have to write that.
Yeah.
And then...
We did have some written information from prior to the meeting, didn't we?
There was a report about...
A report, he went over that
Yeah.
and then he asked a question.
He expanded on that, on some of those bits and pieces.
Thank you. Item 12, which was the Human Resources report.
The right things.
Yeah.
The right level.
Yeah, the Human Resources report. We didn't ask to see the contracts to compare. Who checks the contracts before they're signed on that?
The RFO will sign them.
So just one person checks the contract?
I would have seen part of it, but you would have signed it. The RFO signed it.
But you checked
I've
it as
seen
well?
it, yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's it. Hello, Charles.
Good evening, Charles. Okay, item number 5.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry, no, to approve, sorry. So, can I have somebody to approve the minutes as a record? The man is going to propose. You want a second? Simon, second. All in favour of approving the minutes? Carried. Thank you very much for signing as well. Thank you.
This is the third, yeah.
Dispensation.
Yeah, thank you. So, now item number 5, to note the minutes and actions arising from the committees. So the staffing committee, all these were included in the agenda. Don't know if the chair of the staffing committee wants to say anything, or we've all read the minutes.
It was, well, staffing committee,
Yeah.
it was all in a confidential session, so it's no
confidence, yeah. But all the minutes as they are accepted. The finance and ops minutes, I have nothing really to add from that. We're going to discuss the budget, which was item number 10 there later on. So all the other things are straightforward. And then the planning committee, everyone happy with the minutes of the planning committee? Nobody wants to raise anything? Okay, great. So the minutes are fine. Mayor's announcements. My mayor's announcements. There was no official engagements during January, so I just said what a wonderful place Middlesbrough Norton is and how people enjoy living here and all the things that are on offer at this time of year where it can be quite dark and dull and depressing.
It's wonderful to see the mayor after Wassail. Doing some good judging.
Judging. Financial regulations, there we go. So this was a recommendation to adopt the financial regulations from the Finance and Ops Committee. So the recommendation is the Council is requested to approve the re-adoption of the financial regulations, endorse the inclusion in paragraphs 4.12 and 4.13 as recommended by the internal audit report. So these were discussed at the RFO meeting and agreed to recommend to the Council. The inclusion paragraphs are highlighted in blue further down the list. So as Chair of the Finance and Ops, I will propose that we accept these. We have a second Councillor Scott. All in favour of accepting the financial regulation? Thank you, accepted. Item number 8 is provisional dates for excuse me, sorry, let me get to the end of that document. Yeah, I've got it somewhere. Already it's all got. So these are just, we can vote on an agreement today, but they will come up in May's meeting for formal adoption. So if anybody wants to say anything now about the dates, but really there for your information, and if anybody has any issues with any of those dates, then please let the Deputy Clerk or the Clerk.
Am I right in saying staffing's now a monthly committee? And my main concern with that was, for many years the council managed with personnel working group when it needed to decide some staffing matters, and then the committee was created. And my real worry is just the burden that is on office time to have that now monthly meeting that sets agendas, meeting requests, and minutes being prepared. And why is it now necessary to have so many staffing meetings? Is that
okay? Well, what I would suggest is that the staffing committee can change its meetings if it so chooses. However, currently we're doing a recruitment process which will lead to a probation period for a new person. So I guess the reality is for the next sort of 6 months, 3 months recruitment process, 3-4 months into it, there will be a requirement to do that. And once that's done, you might decide, well, now we're settled, we'll just meet quarterly. Okay, but I think
there are any provisional dates.
There are provisional dates, yeah. Once you've got a new clerk in post and things are a little bit settled, the committee can come back and say, actually, we don't need to meet that often, and you can change that as it is. It's just about getting dates in the diary, so when people are looking summer holidays, no bits and pieces.
It's better to have the provisional dates there rather than start creating extraordinary meetings.
But you're right, we should not have meetings for the meeting's sake. Yeah, so it's the option. I've done councils before where the staffing committee meets, you plug them in every month, okay, and then you might announce 2 weeks in advance, nothing to transact, therefore we won't meet for a month. Okay. It's just about people booking holidays.
Yeah, good answer, thanks very much.
Okay, so they're provisional dates, and we'll adopt or vote on those in a May meeting. Okay, item number 9, date of the annual town meeting. So note the company report confirmed the annual town meeting will be held on Tuesday the 29th of April at the Somer Centre starting at 6 p.m. Also include a presentation of the Civic Awards. Refreshments will be provided. Deputy Clerk has provided a document that explains...
the hospitality may change. I've got a meeting with Martin on Thursday to see what the mayor would like.
So the date is the 24th of January, 25.
It's the date I wrote the report.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Further down.
No, we've not got to the 24th of... Oh, yes, we are.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're in February, aren't we?
We are.
Oh dear, oh dear.
We've got
sorry.
through January. So, yes, anybody have anything to say about that, or everyone happy with that so far? We'll keep you updated as to the arrangements as discussions happen with that. So, I'm really looking forward to that. So that means that one. Item number 10, Midsummer Norton Recreation Trust. Cheryl.
Thank you, Chair. As I missed the beginning of the meeting, I'd like to declare pecuniary interest and request personally a dispensation because I wasn't at.
Yeah, we've already raised that. We've granted as a council.
Oh, you don't say as a council, okay.
Yeah.
All members of the Recreation Trust and the Town Trust were given dispensation. But you want to know that?
I wasn't.
Decoration.
Wasn't my name as a...
So, to receive the minutes of the meeting of the Middleton Water Recreation Trust Management Committee took place on the 21st of January, and consider any recommendations. So, the Management Committee met, and hadn't met for some time. There's a lot of business that needs to take place, so that was the main reason for the meeting. The recommendation here, there's recommendation in item number 16, A to F. So recommended the Middleton Water Town Council, acting in its capacity as sole trustee of the Middleton Water Recreation Ground Charity, supports the endeavours of the Management Committee and resolves those following items. Does anybody want to say anything before I propose?
Sorry, could you read me item, is it 15A and B from there?
Yeah, the Midsummer Norton Recreation Ground pays directly for any expenses that it incurs rather than pay a grant in lieu of payments made by Midsummer Norton Town Council.
Okay.
And B is that the Town Council provides the current level of grounds maintenance support free of charge for the foreseeable future.
Thank you.
So the arrangements are sort of carrying on in terms of the maintenance as before.
Wendy's got her hand up.
Oh yeah, Wendy.
Sorry, Martin.
That's
Could
right.
I just raise this point about the Town Council's now going to provide administrative support? I'm just a little bit bemused as to why that may not have come up at the staffing meeting, which was held prior to this, that there was talk about the staff, because we had talked about our staff at the staffing committee meeting. I thought that may have just been mentioned at the staffing meeting. Just a point.
Okay.
No particular reason for that. It was not until I looked at the recreation trust bits and pieces. So the support that is currently that I'm looking to have formally approved is that which currently exists. I could find no record of it formally being a conscious decision of the Town Council. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not doing anything that we're not doing, because looks like we've always done it.
So this is not an additional duty for us?
It's just
No.
Right, okay.
we haven't met as a group.
Yeah. But we both trust there's stuff that we do, and I just thought if it's right in here, then it's a conscious decision of the council. It's known that we do it free of charge.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, does this not muddy the water a little bit between the Town Council and the charity? Surely there should be some transaction between the two to separate us from the trust, regardless of how small or large that is. At the moment, we're just doing it free of charge, and we're receiving a £3,000. We're basically taking their £3,000 fee from Martin Rovers. Is that correct?
No, that's...
Well, yes,
No.
sort of, but not quite. But in general terms, yes. So you'll note that one of the things is about we're going to write to the Charities Commission about a Section 105 agreement, okay? Because the council really should be recharging another company for the work that it does, yeah? Unless it chooses not to, okay? So there's some service provided to another party,
Yeah.
which actually is difficult because the council is a sole trustee of that, yeah? So to do that, and for the small amount of administrative time the Recreation Trust has it, yeah, really should probably recharge that cost, okay, for the hourly rates of those staff done. If you do, you have to put VAT on, because it's a service you're charging. So if you charge that, you end up increasing the cost of it by 20%, yeah? So the Charities Commission have a Section 105 agreement. Okay, I did explain to the members of the trust, and I sort of allude to it here, that where, and it's almost specifically designed for where councils are sole trustees. So you have to get approval for the council, for the Charities Commission, yeah, that the council, the charity can pay the council some money for the provision of those services. Now, it's not normally something that is time-sheeted. It's what's the average cost per annum, yeah? So maybe we'll say it's, you know, me 4 meetings a year, so an hour for the agenda, hour for the meeting, hour for the minutes, okay? And then some financial transactions, you might say it's 100 hours a year at X, okay? Emptying 2 bins every 2 weeks, and you come to a sort of an average, yeah? And when you get it signed off by the Charities Commission, they say something that's fair for both parties, and they sign it off. Because currently, what is happening is the Recreation Trust, yeah, is paying over that, much of that £3,000, Councillor Hughes, yeah, to charities a grant. Well, it's not really a grant if we invoice them. Okay? So it's about the legislation, about making that clear. And the council, we might have the value of that come out at 50 pence or £50,000. And the council might choose, well, let's call it middle ground or something like that. And what happens after each year is you review it, and some years the charity will be a slight winner, and sometimes the council will be a slight winner. Okay, so it'll be if it was £2,500 a year, and the council spent £2,900, the council would go for the money, the extra 400, and if it was only 2,100, it wouldn't be an exchange. You just review it regularly to make sure it's reasonably fair to both parties at the outset. So what we're trying to do here, surely, is set up that official value. That will be decided by the council.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if there was a recharge in there, of even of a nominal figure, yeah, it separates us.
Yes, absolutely.
In the short term, until you've got a charity commission agreement, yeah, it separates us as effectively as a supplier to the charity, yeah, and not providing free of charge. Yeah. Which sort of muddies water. Anyway.
Yeah, so that's trying to clear it up. I mean, I'm just saying, well, the charity commission come back and say it takes about 12 weeks to respond to such a thing, so it will take a few months, but the wheels are in motion about that, and there'll be some quite nice clear separation, and we'll understand the value of that. Yeah? Because what the charity will have is say, can you come and empty the bin? Yeah? And I might say, as the chief executive of this town council, not my business, do it yourself. Okay? So it's about a contractual arrangement that the Charities Commission sees fair.
Yeah. Did I misunderstand you? Did you say we have to charge the charity VAT?
No, the recreational
trust. That's fine.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I used to supply a charity and I was not allowed to charge the VAT.
If the town council provides a service to another body, yeah, it should add VAT. That's
Okay, so shall I propose that we accept the recommendation as it is item number 16 on here. Seconded by Councillor Scott. All in favour of accepting recommendations?
Is that A to F?
Yeah, A to F. The whole item. That's everybody.
Well, the important bit there is the council as a trustee sees that the submission is documented as submission of the accounts have gone to the council. So you'll get at the annual governance return, you'll sign off and it'll say you've acted, you managed the trusts appropriately, okay, and this is your evidence that you've seen the accounts, and you can vote to say we've managed the affairs in a reasonable manner.
I'm still not 100% sure whether or not we shouldn't be meeting sometimes as the trustee.
You could do.
Just so, but perhaps for more other issues that might be appropriate.
Okay, good. Right, so item number 11, which is to receive a report from the local town clerk in relation to the town council providing staffing support for the town trust. So it's for information at the moment. Sorry, the recommendation is that it's recommended that Middleton Local Town Council, acting in its capacity as sole trustee of the Middleton Local Town Trust, resolves that the town council staff, through direction of the currently local town clerk, provide the necessary administrative support and guidance to the town trust and its management committee until it has either recruited a replacement secretary or identified a suitable method of managing its affairs for the long term, and that the currently local town clerk has delegated authority to appoint staff to undertake additional hours to accommodate the work normally required by the town trust secretary. So, a temporary arrangement to get the town trust through its current situation.
Cheryl's got
Okay. I'll get Cheryl for this.
Just like to ask a question, clarification from the clerk, please. Are the members of the committee, and this applies to the Recreation Trust as well, because the minutes say they are trustees. My understanding was that we're actually not trustees.
No.
The council is the sole trustee, is that right?
Yeah, the language is, so in the minutes of the
Recreation Trust that was held in 2022, it refers in the minutes to the members of the committee as the trustees.
No. So the trustee is the town council. It appoints a management committee to act on behalf of the trustee, which is the council. So all members of the trust management committee are not trustees. Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Hughes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's similar issues to the previous one in terms of, I mean, we had a report in October from yourself that looked into this issue, and it quite clearly said that obviously the town trust is a separate entity and in normal circumstances should be recharged for the service provision as it would any other outside body, and this would normally include VAT.
Yeah.
And our own financial regulations states members and officers are responsible for obtaining value for money at all times. Any officer procuring goods, services or work should ensure that as far as practical that the best available terms are obtained, usually by obtaining prices from several suppliers. So, again, it's that issue of not clouding the issue between us and between the town council and the charity, that recharging to maintain that separation between the two.
Yeah.
Sorry, that noise?
Yeah.
No, it's to do with the work they've been doing outside. Sorry, it's nothing to do with us.
So that's my first concern. I mean, if it's a temporary, are we talking about a temporary situation, or was this?
Well, it's a temporary situation because we're looking to have a meeting at the town trust tomorrow, which I will go to understand these issues. So the same issues apply with the Recreation Trust. Technical bits and pieces.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do is get some separation. If the town council chooses not to recharge, it needs to be a conscious decision as opposed to this is the sort of thing that we've all done. So just a bit of a reset about, do we know we're doing this? If we say, we're content and we're happy, then you can choose to do that. Let's make that official, or not. But that's for the town trust management committee tomorrow night to discuss some options about that, and then they'll come back to the council about what they do. So they might choose tomorrow. Actually, what they'll do is they'll employ somebody on whatever hours a week. Can you just hold the fort for 6 weeks, Lee, and others, and we'll go back to that, and then those other issues will come out.
Okay. Yeah. Because looking at the report, it seems to be around about a 12-hour week position.
Well, I've only got the 12 hours a week because that's what the secretary to the town trust was employed on. That's the only reason I've gone up. Whether that's enough or not, I don't know. I would imagine it's sporadic.
Okay. It's just obviously, so there's two counts of concern. Yeah. One is this recharging and separation, and the second is available resource within our existing staffing to cope with that additional burden that we're putting onto them. Assuming that it's going to be delegated down to one of the admin staff to manage.
Well, I think what will happen is we'll do it as a team. Yeah. So policy stuff, I'll spend 20 minutes on.
Yes. So 20 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
Is a lot of money.
No. My point is, so I manage all the services of the council because I'm the head of the shed. So I spend my time in all aspects of the business as routine. Okay. What will happen is we'll move some of the work around to make it fit. So if I've got to spend 20 minutes, so there's a meeting tomorrow night. Okay. It's probably quite appropriate that I go. Yeah. Okay. For that. Okay. The things that fall out of it, I don't need to be involved in. Yeah. Okay. And it depends. A financial bit, I might borrow Kate for 10 minutes. Okay. But if I borrow Kate for 10 minutes, I'll give sort of her lower level work.
It's just put.
So all it would happen is you go redistribution from the job to the lowest point in the council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to...
I don't know, Sean, finish.
Sorry, yes, I mean, I think we just need to clarify, you know, if we're talking about a temporary position, it's not really too much of an issue.
Yes.
If we're moving towards a permanent position, then it is, and it needs to be it must be much more carefully defined and understood the implications, financial implications.
So it's only after the meeting, won't we? Mandy?
I'm following up from what Sean says. I'm very concerned about this 12 hours or however much it is. Our staff, I understand, are quite hard pushed anyway. And so partly it's the feasibility of it, of putting more work on them. But also I don't feel it's fair, from my understanding, that the town council does the work for... Why should the town council be doing the town trust stuff?
Because it's in the deeds. So the council doesn't have to be the trustee.
Yeah.
The council is the trustee, and part of the remit of being the trustee is it has responsibility for the trusts. Just as if you became a trustee of another charity, you're saying, I'm going to take on the responsibility of being a trustee. You can step away and not be a trustee, that is an option, but the council, as trustee, has a responsibility to that charity.
I've been a trustee of various people, and if admin and stuff needs doing, I don't think that's necessarily Is there another way of doing it?
It's in the deeds.
You could give it to some well-meaning amateurs.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay? But managing the charity as a sole trustee or overseeing it, I would suggest you want some pretty good assurance from the council that the function's being carried out in line
appropriately.
Yeah.
So, Cheryl, can I ask you, is it appropriate to ask the town trust guys, the town trust people, to do that kind of stuff?
You need to be clear about what you're asking to be done.
Okay.
The town council, as the sole trustee, has legal responsibilities, and it is the clerk and the staff of the town council who deliver those responsibilities.
Okay, that's helpful.
As the sole trustee.
Yeah.
I think what I was going to say was, I think Sean's concerns are very valid, but I think maybe that he's jumping the gun, and maybe we should see what falls out of the meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, well, let's hope.
Yeah.
I mean, to a certain extent, I'm going through the reports, and the report points us in two potential directions, so I'm exploring both of those options.
Yeah.
Because obviously, don't forget that we still have to perform the reviews, that the internal audit reports and the investigation reports both require us to produce reports on our
Yeah, and this will go some way to identifying those issues.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a few little bits at the end to tidy up.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to create some separation of duties, get the basics done. Yeah. Now you talk about can staff do this. Well, actually, what if somebody reports some damage in the town park to the secretary? How does that get fixed? Do you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So what happens there is
nothing.
No, the secretary of the trust rings Joe and asks Joe to speak to our grounds maintenance guy and sort it out. She's doing it anyhow.
Yeah.
Largely, or parts of it. Yeah. Now I would suggest that's probably working in cooperation for the better good. But what we need to do is be clear about what the council is accepting and knowing, as opposed to drifting into.
And in that scenario, you need to be recharging.
Yes.
Base time, which currently is another grey area, is the use of our grounds staff.
But the council's been doing that for a while. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but it's been doing that for a while. There's an assumption about some things. We just need to tidy about those assumptions up, that we will, of course we'll do that. Yeah. And one thing that I would be suggesting probably is, actually, we're doing the accounts and doing the orders, we might as well do something. If the office manager is ordering it on behalf of some of the work, okay, then there's some sense that it could be kept in there. I'm not saying about the wider aspects and the more the added value of the trust, okay, but some of the basic mechanics might well sit in the council, because I, or whoever's in my chair, can bring that to you in a formal matter for you to examine and check and challenge. Yeah?
Oh, I don't dispute the logic.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it needs some work. So
Absolutely.
Accountability and transparency needs to be looked
That's
at.
what's happening, I think. Okay, good. So I propose we accept these.
I was going to say it couldn't come in actually. I think the key thing is I think it should be looked at as a short-term measure because it hasn't worked in the past. That's the main reason.
Yeah.
So we've basically gone back to where the council was about 2 or 3 years ago, and it didn't work. So I think what you're doing is absolutely brilliant to get everything better defined, and then that will put the trusts on a good footing going forward. But then they should aim to have the autonomy through the management committees to carry out what the council has instructed, and that's the important thing. That's why I said earlier, the council has to meet occasionally as a trustee. It sets what it wants the trust to achieve, and then the management committee will get on with it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the council would have to be meeting all the time to do the minutiae of trust business, which actually the council staff aren't allowed to do, I don't think, unless there is some sort of policy that allowed them to. They'd have to be quite careful.
Well, what you were getting to that is that Section 105 agreement with the Charities Commission the Charities Commission, it's not us agreeing ourselves we'll do it. You have to send it to the Charities Commission, they have to approve that what you're doing is fair to both people. So there's an independent arbiter of what is fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. But then as I say, it comes out, for instance, because the trusts have funds. So the council has to be incredibly careful before it commits trust fund for what might be seen as its benefit. That's a big charity no-no. And that's why the management committee could do that, because it's in the interest of the trust. If the council decides to incur expenditure and uses that from the trust fund, which is the trust bank account, that's where it becomes a bit messy.
Yeah. There's issues to discuss tomorrow night and some understanding, report back here. I think it'll be backwards and forwards over a period of a few months to clarify a couple of points, okay, and refine a few, and it will take you 6 to 9 months to be absolutely sure about what responsibilities lie with the council, what are the trusts, what that relationship is. You just need to define it in the next couple of months, okay? But the important thing really is currently the town trust don't have a secretary, and some activity, and if the council don't step in, okay, then the council will be failing its duty as the sole trustee, okay? So they're both on the same side. It's just about over the course of the next few weeks or months being quite clear, because some documents are produced and say we've gone through this process, this is what you get for free, you don't get anything for free, we recharge you, we don't recharge you, or whatever it might be. Yeah?
That's great. Okay. So I've made a proposal on recommendation 15A and B. We've got a second. Gordon has a second. All in favour? Are we in favour? Are we voting? Not voting.
So there's not a vote then?
Well, Mandy's not voting.
Right, okay, so
There's enough of you.
no, the point is, 4 against.
Yes, 4 against, sorry. 4. Yeah.
Sorry, I missed.
So we vote for it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and against or abstaining.
It was all.
No, sit down, Mandy voted.
Mandy's abstaining.
No, it was all. I don't know.
Yeah. All in favour.
Okay. Item number 12. So we've got with an email sent out with.
It was sent out separately, I think.
Yes. Well, there's an email sent out with some dates. I wasn't asking if people were available for the visioning day, which it says in this document that Kate prepared. The full council meeting on 13th of May, 24.
Did I send this out? Apologies if I didn't. I think I sent it out. I can't remember.
What's the reason
We've
why
had
I
it.
request the dates?
Right. I think. Well, yes. No, I didn't think I've got it, but I've got it
No, I
now.
don't think I've got it.
So nobody else got it, right?
Oh, my apologies. I
Yeah.
thought I'd.
Oh well, there's a document here. I'm sorry, I thought it had been sent out to everybody. I only saw it yesterday. So basically, it's the strategy day which we sort of agreed to the council to do, which has sort of become a little bit unstuck. I think we filled in some questionnaires, or some of us did a while ago, but all with the intent of having at least a day where we go through a process.
You did send it.
Yeah, right, go through a
I did
process.
send it out.
At some point.
What date?
It was several dates, or I think they were mostly Saturdays. Hang on.
No, not the date. The review on the strategy
Oh, it was
vision day,
sent.
not the dates.
What date
It was sent out on the 20th
Right.
from Kate.
I shouldn't have done because I wrote it on the 27th.
No, I think you're talking, Mandy, about the request for councillors to respond to the dates that were sent.
Yes.
And Kate's talking about
Apologies,
the document that she...
I've written the report, my apologies, I thought I'd sent it out.
Okay.
Because it wasn't written till after my apologies, it wasn't written out till after the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had a few responses to the email regarding dates, but not many, and not enough to go. So we need to decide, are we going ahead with the vision? Is it something we want to do, to define a strategy and vision for the town council for the next few years? Or do we not, and just want to kind of plod on? Or do we want to find a different format for doing this and not use the I can't remember the name, CHRG Mandy?
Would it be a good idea to wait till we've got a clerk to have it?
I think we need to. It's been on the back boiler for a while. I think we were thinking that, but that didn't happen, and now we're looking at another few months.
Okay.
Before we do it, we'll
I think that makes an awful lot of sense.
want to wait for it.
We need to have a clerk before we do the
Yeah,
vision.
that's what we talked about before, and now we're with the winner.
Oh,
No, I think we
should
should.
you get the clerk? Because otherwise, what if? Well, yeah, because then the clerk might come up with a lot of suggestions which seem a bit late after the visioning day. So
There's a vision. The strategy is really the vision of the councillors, right?
Yes, and then the clerk executes it.
And we've got, at least supposedly, whether we do it in-house and we have our staff clerk involved, or whether we do it with this organisation
the
there.
clerk would be a visioning expert. They save us the money.
Yeah, well, we don't
And also be able to help us. So.
I'm just concerned that we'll go through it and we'll do another year and we've not got anywhere in defining a strategy or vision. Cheryl was next, then Wendy.
I think one of the points that was made originally from the investigation, but also by previous clerk, was that there wasn't a strategy. So if we're going to appoint a new town clerk, we really need to have a strategy for them to know what they're working towards.
Except we do actually have a strategy, and it's been adopted by council.
No, that's good.
I think that's expired.
No, it's
2024,
it's still current. No, it's until April 25.
I think what's become clear though is that over the last year or so, there's been lots of things that have happened. For instance, things haven't necessarily gone the way that we've planned. There may be a lot, there's been a change of government. There's been new devolution requirements. And therefore I think just because we had something in place 3 or 4 years ago doesn't mean we shouldn't be looking to put something new in place, especially in response to quite frankly a lot of changes that's happening in the world at the moment.
And a lot of new councils as well.
So I'm sure people have read the document. The document does say quite explicitly it's a working document to be reviewed yearly to be kept up to date. And if people haven't read it to keep it up to date, how would they know what's in it?
But we should have a visioning day to look at it.
Yes, it could come forward to that. Wendy?
I was just going to ask if we are totally committed to this business, that our advisors, obviously we've sent all these questionnaires. I didn't know how far down the line we were with the commitment. Because we tend to play a lot of ping pong, I think perhaps it would be nice if we met informally before we started paying out £2,500 to see if we can find some common ground, and then maybe have this more formal meeting once we had decided amongst ourselves. If it's going to be a game of ping pong all day, which I'm not saying that's good or bad or otherwise, but it's a very expensive exercise and we come out of there really not having decided anything.
I think my understanding is it wouldn't be particularly formal, but it would be a forum for people to be able to share their views and ideas and, in a welcoming sort of atmosphere.
Right.
But guided by some professionals or somebody more objective that could then facilitate those views rather than something more informal which could become messy in terms of strategy and ideas. Sean?
So, first of all, we've already agreed to do it.
Yeah.
It's one of the recommendations from the independent reports that we do this, and we all voted to accept all those recommendations. Right. So we've already agreed to do it. It's just a case of the dates. I think in an ideal world, we would perhaps undergo some sort of public consultation first to get some feedback from the public about what they want, before we work out a strategy for what we want. I mean, historically, you know, the public have generally, top of their agenda has always been things like a public toilet. And the council's previous council solution was to give them a concrete table tennis table. So, you know, I think we need to
going off target. Can you just?
No, this is
No, because we're talking visioning day, not necessarily toilets and ping pong tables.
No, with the public consultation, we've shot.
I'm just making a point.
Sorry, a visioning day or not?
Sorry, I'm trying to make the point.
Continue.
The point is that I don't believe that the previous strategies have accommodated the concerns of the public. So I think that if we were able to incorporate some sort of public consultation, it would help. But either way, we've agreed to do this.
Yeah.
It's in our, we've voted for it. So let's get a date in the book and get on with it.
I'd just like to support that. I do think it's important that the public are consulted. But I think that part of the strategy could be that we do go out and do a public consultation and we do commit time, effort and funding towards that, because it is about time.
Yeah.
And that would also tie in with the neighbourhood plan. I think, and I may be wrong on this, that not only has the council approved to go ahead with the strategy day, it has actually approved the expenditure for this particular company to do it. So therefore, it's already in the pipeline, and the only thing that's happened is there's been a delay in terms of organising dates. To answer the question, you could arrange for one of us or for the clerk, for instance, to do the facilitation. But as someone who's done facilitation for strategy meetings with lots of different companies over the years, I think it would be inappropriate for anybody round this table to do that. Hence the reason for going out to an external facilitator, which is very, very common practice.
Okay, so if we take as read that we have agreed it and we've employed this company to do it, what dates are suitable for people? We suggested several Saturdays, because I sort of felt that starting fresh on a day rather than in an evening, for those people that work in or have forgot the commitment stage would be better. But if that hasn't worked out, then an evening date.
Sorry, Chair. They've come back to me. We start about 9, meeting up between 9 and 9:30 for coffee, tea, coffee, chat. Start about 9:30. Would run about midday. You would then break for lunch, and then you'd reconvene after lunch for about a couple of hours.
Which is standard for a strategy day. I mean, I've been to a strategy day like this before.
Yeah.
In a council. Yeah. They'll come and put it in table 4.
But yeah, but typically not on a weekend. That's the.
But I think
Actually, no, typically, especially for town and parish councils, the ones that
maybe town and parish.
the ones that I've attended have been at the weekend, and I think it's actually quite important for us as a council, especially because we're now becoming what we call more stable in terms of our structure and you know, we don't have the turnover of councils. I think it's really important that we spend the time together. I think we owe it to the public to actually put one day aside, and actually they can be really useful these days in terms of councils actually getting to know each other and working together and everything. So I think it's a really, really good thing, and to have it on an evening, I don't think we would extract the value, specifically since we're paying for an external facilitator, that it's far better to do it at a weekend. Also found that actually when you had new councils, you would do councillors training at a weekend on a Saturday, because then you could have the whole day going through different parts of training, and it helped bond the councillors together.
So do you want to send those dates out again?
Well, I just came up with March to try and get it going.
Yeah.
It was the 8th, 15th, 22nd and 29th. Is that correct? That's the top of my head.
Yeah.
I can only do the 8th and the 15th. I'm working the 22nd and the 29th, so I can't do.
Or I can push it back to.
Can I suggest that, as we haven't got a full complement here, that I know it's more trouble, but if you could put it out again, but with a deadline to respond by,
So there was permission to
I didn't
pursue.
respond, I'll be honest, I haven't responded yet either. But, well, so if you could put it out a deadline that we will make a
Do
decision.
you want me to do some April dates as well as we're
Yeah, I
now
think it
in,
would
as
be-
we're now in February,
Yes.
March is 4 weeks
Yes.
away.
Yeah.
March and April.
Could I just make a point? At the back end, as it stands at the moment, those that may be on the interview panels
Yes.
for the recruiting, that's going to be at the back end of March.
Yes.
You know, people will be a bit fatigued and filled with that. Based on what Simon's just said, I'm thinking perhaps the front end of March would be perhaps a little more appropriate.
So the 8th or the 15th,
Yes.
which is off the top of
That's the sort of date I was...
East April, you'll lose a weekend because you've got Easter, haven't you?
Yeah.
But why don't we agree to recirculate the email tomorrow, yeah, and cover dates up until the end of May?
May.
Oh, no, just, yeah.
Yeah,
Just give me, yeah.
Okay.
Minded that the sooner is better, yeah. And if everybody can respond to those by Tuesday of next week.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah, okay, good.
And if there's a lot of dates there, just put the ones you can't make rather than the ones you can.
I'll send it out this evening because I'm actually away tomorrow and Wednesday, so I don't want to get I don't want to get
All right, thank you. Okay, so that's that one.
And apologies once again, I thought I'd sent you.
So item number 13, budget and precept. So to receive a budget precept report following on from a meeting of the Finance and Ops Committee held on Monday the 20th of January, consider recommendation to approve a budget and set a precept for the financial year 25-26. So you had a whole lot of information. It's this one here. Oh, all right, I'll use yours. I've got something. The recommendation is to approve the summary budget F for the financial year. So on page 3, there are 6 budget proposals. Yeah, and F was the one that was the F&O chose. Thought A was there. I think it was the most closest to what they were likely to approve. So with some slight alterations, the clerk, the RFO, put proposal F together, and that's the one that we're voting on tonight. It's the recommendation from the F&O committee, and the details of that are on page 4, showing how it all pans out. But this allows for some contingency spending on the neighbourhood plan, town hall, play equipment, van lease, and contingency grant trusts that are not line items, but it allows some contingency spending and allows quite a larger general reserve to build up when needed.
Martin, there's a document here dated the 24th of January for the Midsummer Norton Town Council for the 3rd of February.
This one, we have LJ 19 at the top.
Yes.
It was written on the 24th.
Number 2 says to approve draft A, but as you say in another document, it's talking about approve option F.
Oh no, so at the finance and operations it held, they considered 5 draft budgets and the levels of precept along with recommendation A. So I recommended to the F&O budget A.
Right.
They didn't like it and converted it into budget F.
Right.
So that's what I recommended to the F&O committee.
Right.
Okay, along with B, C, D, and E. Okay, they didn't like A. No, they didn't like A. They thought a modification to A was better. So I'm just saying what went to that, so you can follow it through. Because behind this document is everything that went to the F&O, so you can read all their bits and pieces.
Sort of history.
Okay, that's fine. That clears it for me.
Because we've been discussing this for several months, most of it very few changes, and we need to decide today because it needs to go to Baines today. Cheryl.
Just like to thank everybody actually who's been involved in this, and to reassure those councillors who may not be on F&O committee that from what I can see, most of the concerns that councillors have raised from time to time, which includes making these contingency provisions, have been addressed. and that includes the possible contingency, for instance, if, because Councillor Hughes had raised things about personnel and staff and what might we be doing in the future. So what we've got here is we've got contingencies in place which will probably come about once the strategy meeting has been held, because the council decide priorities. I think it also maintains a level of reserves that we're comfortable with, and that hopefully the internal auditor will be comfortable with as well. So I'd like to commend to council the proposed option F budget and propose that it be accepted.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Right.
I
So-
think it looks good.
We'll move to
Could I just ask one more question? I didn't sit in on the last finance committee, but the previous one, the question came up about the reserves, and the answer came back, it was minus plus 30%. Has that been sort of whittled down to being less? That's sort of quite a large minus plus. Yes.
It gets, the closer you get to the end of the year, the narrower that margin comes down, because we're more certain of costs. Because it's about right. Yeah. It
Right,
won't
so
be
you haven't
over.
got such a huge differential, you know, possibly a minus 30. Have we sort of shrunk it up to being more like 15 or 20?
With a fair wind, it's pretty close. I would imagine that maybe a 5,000 swing either way would be reasonable. Yeah.
Okay.
You could. I mean, I always say to councils this. Until the end of the year is done, you never know, there might be some huge thing. It's normally where you've got grounds maintenance and February trees come down and suddenly you spend £15,000 trees. I don't think you've got anything in your responsibilities that bears that huge risk. You know, because you have set the town hall, but you know, you haven't got any buildings you're looking after because we're renting someone from the summer centre, it's not our liability. You know, if the roof comes off that.
Exactly. Except the town hall.
So
yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I am supporting that. I am going to support this tonight, and I think we have no choice. Tonight is the night we have to approve our budget. I am supporting it. I am going to say that I still maintain concerns about some of the figures. I do have concerns about whether we will actually achieve the reserve figures that we're hoping for. There's a lot of unknowns coming towards us. I know we feel in a more stable place on figures than we have done. We are. But, I mean, in the last 2 years, we've yet to have a set of figures from the town hall contractors that we could actually rely on. So there's a note of caution there. And once that town hall opens, that could be the beginning of a whole new world of pain, because we don't have a viable business plan for the town hall at the moment. The only business plan that exists has huge flaws in it. So there are potential problems coming down the road, but we are where we are, and we need to get a budget approved.
That's good. Thank you.
So the town council did spend a considerable amount of money on a business plan.
Well,
it was adopted by council.
You're going
So we can
aren't you?
Exactly.
I think
So we've got
That statement was made to the
thank you.
mentioned.
Let me put a point here. Okay, so there is risk with it. Yeah? There is risk with anything. It's appropriate to be nervous about that risk, I think. Okay? So think positive. Yeah? Hope for a fair wind. Have something in your back pocket for if it gets tripped up. And I would suggest that 231,000 of general reserve, yeah, is probably adequate. Yeah?
Oh, we've already had this debate, and we've been through an F&O process. Yeah. That's fine. I'm just saying, because specifically at F&O I voted against the budget.
Yeah.
I'm supporting it, but I'm just putting that word of caution in to explain why I'm voting why I am.
Look, I'm saying it's a positive thing to have some healthy scepticism.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So should we move to the vote then? So we've got a proposer, a seconder, all in favour of adopting this budget F as recommended by F&O, carried unanimously.
Well, can I just make sure, just because it's set in the budget,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
So you agree the budget,
Yeah.
okay?
And then 50.2.
And then to fund the budget, you have the precept.
Yeah,
So I
so-
think the
so
public records
50
probably got a separate.
Okay, do separate
Yeah.
vote. Okay.
Yeah.
50.2, the precept be issued.
I'd like to propose the precept as recommended.
Chair votes.
Yeah,
For Linda's
for
reference.
36.
And all in favour? Again? Yeah, all in favour. Right, and final.
He's got the paperwork to sign.
Right. And the...
Well done, Council.
So, item number 14, date of next meeting. Next full council meeting is Monday the 3rd of March. 7 o'clock, as here as usual. Thank you very much.
I would like